Hi everyone. This is the first class of the session, the Practical Accounts Training course, which you have just started. Let me introduce myself first. I'm Ankita Mahajan. I'm a CA by profession and your mentor for this particular course. Let us discuss first of all that what is going to be covered in this course, that how we are going to proceed in the classes, what we are going to learn, and how you need to work with this practical training. First of all, let us discuss that for whom this course is ideal for. The people who have just completed their graduations or post graduations or any degrees in the commerce field, they are very much eligible for this course. And why they need to learn something in practical sense before going in the market for any kind of job. Just understand one thing: when you are going for getting any job, for going for any interviews, or you are going to work in the market, no one is going to hire you on the basis of your degrees. That's perfect if you are having an MBA degree, but you know nothing about any work because you have not taken any practical experience during your curriculums. You know nothing about the actual work. Then why would someone pay you for knowing nothing? He's not going to teach you anything and paying you for that. So, if you are going in a market for getting any kind of job, you need to learn something. Somehow, you need to learn something from that background also. You can't just go as a raw fresher because if you're going like this, you will get the jobs, no issues in that. You will get jobs in good companies as a freshers because most of the companies hire freshers as well, but your duration of your work, duration of your job will depend upon how you are going to perform over there. If you're not able to perform properly, if you're not able to grasp the things properly on time, then they will kick you out. The main point behind this is that after your studies, after completing your BComs or MComs, BBAs or MBAs, BCA, any kind of degree in the commerce field, if you're going in the market for working, for getting any job, then you need to understand that how the work actually flows in the market, how the companies are going to work, how you are going to work when you are going and sitting on a place to work in any kind of industry, whether it's a manufacturing industry, whether it's a service industry, or any kind of industry. If you are going for getting any jobs, you must have a degree as well as the practical experience in that field also. You can't go like a fresher because most of the people, you can say, if 100 people are going in the market for getting some jobs, only 10 or 20 freshers will get the good jobs. Rest of the people will be demanded with an experience certificate. Just tell us what you know. As an employer, if we are going to hire somebody, then we are going to ask that, you know anything about my industry, or you know anything how to work. If I'm going to give you some 10 or 20 bills, you know how to read those bills and how to enter those bills in the systems. Of course, at that time, you are zero if you don't know anything because it's a very less probability of getting a job as a fresher. But there is a huge market outside your college premises or outside your homes, and everybody is not going to offer you any consideration for knowing nothing, for having zero practical experience, because the experienced persons are also available for working on the same rates. Are you getting my point? They are also taking the same amount of salaries and working in a very professional way, the experienced person, then why would anyone pay you as a fresher? He already knows ki uh, he have to teach you everything. So the first kind of people who are eligible for the course for the practical training is that are those who have completed their studies and want to get some jobs in the market. They need to understand finance, they need to understand business, because if you are going in any industry on on any post, not only accountant but on any kind of post, you just need to understand what business is, how the business works, how the business flows. You need to have the basic understanding of finance as well, being an commerce professional. So the second kind of people who can take the course are those who were already working as an accountant, but because of some time gap, they have lost all their memories and all that. They don't know how the GST works, because GST is has come from the past 2 or 3 years, and they know nothing about the GST because there is a huge gap between their earlier working and the today's time, because of the change in all the taxation systems or everything. There is a huge change in the finance industry, and they want to revive their memories and their knowledge, their understanding. They want to brush up their knowledge basically, so they can just join the course, because everything which an accounts professional needs to know is covered in the course. The third kind of people who are not comfortable in relying upon their accounts professional or their chartered accountants, the entrepreneurs, the businessmen, and they want to learn each and everything, so that if any accountant or any CA is saying them anything or recommending them something, they need to understand those things, all the compliances, all the rules, regulations. They need to understand their accounts department properly. So the deep understanding about the accounts, about the finance, about the taxation, everything will be covered in this course. The myth in the people is that they just need tally course. They just need to understand how the tally works, how the tally prime works. They're just after learning the courses. They're just after learning the softwares only, but they're not understanding one thing, that if you know how to enter a bill, how to do a journal entry, what journal entry needs to be done, then you can work in any kind of software. There are a lot of softwares in the market, not only Tally. There are Tally, Busy, SAP, Sapphire. There are a lot of softwares, lot of accounting softwares, and all the industries are using multiple softwares in their premises, in their accounting departments. How you can learn each and every software on the earth? That is not possible, of course. But the possible thing is that you should understand how to work, how to enter a journal entry, how to make a journal entry, how to enter a particular event, a particular transaction in the system. If you know the entry, then you can enter that particular entry in any kind of software. Software learning is not difficult at all. It's just a matter of 2 to 3 days. But learning the work is more important. Let's say you are on a accounts professional seat and you know nothing about the TDS, tax deducted at source. You don't know how to calculate the TDS on the salaried individuals. Salaried employees are there in your company and you don't know how to deduct the TDS, how to calculate that TDS amount which you need to deduct from their salaries. That is an issue. But if you don't know how to enter in a particular software, then that you can learn in 1 to 2 days. That's not a big deal. But first of all, you need to understand what the thing is, what the compliance is, what the rule is, how to make the journal entry, how to do each and everything. Learning that thing is more important than learning any kind of software. Of course, we are going to practice on the Tally softwares, but that is up to you. If you are comfortable in learning busy software or any other kind of software which is more famous in your region, and you think that learning that particular software will be more beneficial than learning Tally Prime, then you can practice on those softwares as well. That is not an issue. Software is not an issue. The main underlying thing is that if you are working in an export oriented unit and you are not aware about learning, you're not aware about reading the shipping bills, you don't know how the shipping bills look like, and you are not able to find the figures on the shipping bills, that is the big issue. But if you don't know how to uh, you know everything, that how to learn, how to read the shipping bill or how to make the journal entry of that particular purchase or sale, that is fine. But if you don't know how to enter that particular entry in the system, that is a matter of 1 2 days to learn that thing. Software is not a big deal, but you should learn each and everything which an accountant needs to know. So that if you are, let's say you're not having any job in any particular industry, but you are working on your own, you are having your own consultancy firm and you are working for a lot of clients. Everyone is having different kind of business. Someone is having the manufacturing industry, someone is into service industry, someone is into export oriented units, any kind of business which you are handling, whose accounts you are handling. If you know each and everything, definitely you are going to excel in working with that company. But if you know only Tally software, then you are not going to do anything properly. Then you just know the Tally software and how to enter the bills in the Tally. You know only this thing. But if you know how to make the journal entry, how to enter it, which account needs to be debited, which account needs to be credited, which accounts reflect which kind of thing. If any account is there, is it a liability? Is it a asset? So if you know each and everything like this, you have the deep understanding and you have the conceptual clarity, then that will be a beneficial thing for you in working with any industry, with any person. You can work on any software across India, across globe, if you know how to work. But if you know only Tally software, then you are going to be a data entry operator only, and you will be able to enter the sale purchase bills in the Tally software. That's it, nothing else. Tally software is a helping software, you can say, but not a complete thing that you need follow. So if we discuss how we are going to proceed in the classes, first of all, we will be covering all the basic concepts, the deep concepts, and we will be having the deepest understanding of those concepts, that why the accounting standards say this thing or that thing. What is the logic behind that? If you will learn everything logically, that will be struck in your mind and you will not forget that thing. So, everything conceptually will be covered firstly. The next thing will be practical working in the class. As I said, we will be covering the Tally software. We will enter all the things, all the bills, all the entries, all the taxation, everything in the Tally software in the class. We are going to cover this thing, that we will teach that how you are going to operate the software, how to create a company, how to enter the bills in the software, how to make the GST returns from the software. Everything software learning will be completely covered over here in the class. But the thing is that watching someone working on anything, if you are watching me working on the software, that is a different thing. But when you are going to work on your own with your own hands, only then you will understand that where you are lacking and which thing is not clear to you. So practicing is very important. If you are not able to do whatever you have learned, that will go waste. So practice is very important. The Tally software will be installed in your computers, in your laptops, and you need to complete the assignments on your software. The actual industry's data will be provided to you in the assignments. There will be multiple assignments and multiple tests during the whole course, because the motive is not to just tell you everything, that how the things work, this looks like that, this looks like that. That is not the motive. The motive is that you need to work on everything by your own hands. So Tally software will be installed in your PCs. Educational versions will be installed. And if you want to work on any other software, you can work on that too. That is completely your choice. Because as I said, software doesn't matter. You can work on any kind of software if you know what entry needs to be passed. So the assignments, the actual data will be covered in the assignments that will be provided to you, and you need to enter all the data in the systems, in the softwares, in the Tally software or any other software in which you are going to work. You need to enter the data, and after entering all the assignments, you need to give a test based upon the outcomes of the assignment which we have given to you. And if you will score good in that test, only then you will be able to proceed further. Because as I said, the motive is not to teach anything, the motive is you should understand each and everything, you should learn each and everything practically. So practical working is very important. That will be covered. You need to practice with us. Unless until you don't know each and everything clearly, we shall not proceed further. So this will be the whole structure of the course, that how we are going to proceed in the classes. Thank you very much. Now, if we proceed towards the relevance of accounts for any business, accounts maintenance, why is it that much important for different kinds of businesses, and what is the weightage of the accounts for any person who is doing business? First of all, there are small businessmen. They don't care much about their accounts. For them, accounts is just a compliance thing. For government's returns and everything, they just have to prepare the accounts, but they don't rely on their accounting figures. They only want that a person should come weekly or after every 15 days and just enter all the sale purchase bills and file all the returns and prepare the balance sheets and all for at the time of finalization of their accounts. They don't care much about the financials, that what is going on in their accounts, because the main thing of accounts is that a person should know where his business is standing, whether that business is giving him profits or losses. That understanding is very important. But for small businessmen, they don't rely on the accounting figures for calculating that profitability. They don't have a lot of transactions, they just have a couple of transactions, a small number of transactions which they remember by their own selves. They don't rely on your accounts, so for them there is not that much relevance of accounts. They will pay an accountant just 5 to 7,000 or maximum 10,000, just for coming weekly or after every 15 days or two times in a week, and just enter all the sale purchase bills and their banks and prepare all the returns and balance sheets and all that for the government's purpose. They just want that thing. The next is medium scale businesses. They rely on the accounts, their volume is quite high, but For calculating their profitability, they don't rely on the accounts. They just want to hire some people, the staff members, for working in their companies for full time basis, but just enter the things which are coming in their way, that all the sale bills, purchase bills, expenses, and prepare the records properly. They rely on the accounts figures, but not that much. They know their profitability on their own. They know where they are earning and where they are losing. They know each and everything by their own. They don't rely that much on the accounting figures. But yes, they see the accounting figures, that how much sale is there and how much purchases is there, how much expenses are there. They see to all these things, but they don't rely for their profitability on those figures. They know their profitability because for them everything is not in the accounting softwares. They sell they sell their goods on the without any bill or something like that. They do a lot of works and they know where they stand, and they don't rely on the accounting figures, but yes, they see to the accounts. These are the medium scale businesses. Why we are discussing this thing? Just to understand that for which kind of business the relevance of accounts will be very high, where you need to be perfect, where there is no scope of mistake. If you are handling the accounts of the small businesses, at that time, if you have made any minor mistake or anything like that, that is okay. You can just correct it and everything will be fine, and the owners will not uh, poke you for that, will not throw you out for those mistakes, because they don't have that much relevance of accounts. For them the relevance is only for the compliance portion, for the government's point of view. So they will not you can say they will not sit on your head for the accounting entries and all that, but the medium scale will sit on your head and will ensure that you are working in a proper way, because they are relying somehow on their accounts, not properly but somehow. But if we talk about the large businesses who rely on their accounts, you cannot make any silly mistakes in the financials of those companies who are relying on the accounts for calculating their profits and everything. Let's say a company is having the full reliance on their accounts for calculating their profits, and they are just evaluating the quarterly results, that how much sale is there and how much purchases is there. And you being an accountant has made a mistake, that you have entered the purchases bill in the asset account. What this thing will do, that will inflate their profit, will affect their decisions. They are going to make a, let's take an example, that a company is going to take a decision that whether they should continue to manufacture a particular product or should uh, finish off that product, that whether that product is giving profits or losses. They are just going to take this much decision. They called for your financials because the financials is the only thing on the basis of which any person can take any decision. Because if I'm going to take a decision on a thing, that whether my this product should be continued in the future or should be finished off, whether it's yielding profits or losses to me, to my company, so how I'm going to take the decision on the basis of financials only, na? That how much sale of this particular product, how much expenses are incurred on this product, and everything like that. That is the main basis on which I'm going to take this much important decision. And just imagine that you have made a silly mistake because your concept was not clear. that whether a particular expense should be categorized as revenue nature or the capital nature. You don't understand this thing completely. You have made a mistake. That is a blunder mistake, because this will affect the profitability, this will affect their major decision. Let's say their product is giving them losses, and because of your accounting mistakes you have shown that product as a profitable unit. Then how you can expect the other person will not throw you out? So the relevance of accounts is different for different kind of people. Why we have discussed this particular thing? Because you should know that where you are working, how much that thing is important for that company, and how much is your understanding on the work which you are performing. If you are not clear about the concepts, you should learn the concepts, and you should do each and everything in a rational way. You should not rush over the jobs, but you don't know how to work and how to handle the work of that particular company. Let's say you are going to file the GST returns and you are not clear about the RCM topic, reverse charge mechanism. What is reverse charge mechanism and on which bills it's going to be charged or not? You have not deposited the RCM. The GST RCM you have not deposited because you were not aware about that thing. What that will do? First of all, the RCM liability will arise on the company. The interest on RCM liability will arise on the company. So all these things have a huge impact in terms of finance. Maybe your silly mistake, your small mistake can give a huge loss to a company. So you should be very, very particular at your work. So you should categorize in which company you are working and in which company you are going to work, and how much the accounts are relevant for that company, how much the finances are relevant for that company. If I'm working as a consultant and I'm handling the small firms and all that, I'm handling all the accounts and GST returns of the small firms, then that is okay. If you have made any mistake, then that is completely fine. If you don't learn anything new, that will be okay. That will be all right. No issues in that. But if you're working in a company who is that kind, that company is relying on their accounts for their major decision making, and all the compliances are heavy compliances are there on the company, then you should be very, very particular on your work, and you should learn each and everything in a proper manner. And being a professional accountant, being a senior accountant, if you're working as a junior accountant from years and years and you want to take a step forward, what is the difference between the junior accountants and the senior accountants? The main difference is that the junior accountants only know about the basic knowledge. They don't have the professional knowledge. They don't have the professional understanding. They need a senior's guidance every time. They just know how to enter the bills and how to enter the bank account. Only data entry is not a work of an accountant. If you're not aware about the GST, the RCM, the internal important topics, the TDS, import export accounting, the bank reconciliation statements, let's say you are going to work as a senior accountant and you know nothing about the cash credit limits. What is the cash credit limit? What is CC limit for a business, which is a very, very important component? Then how you can expect that you are going a good consideration in a particular company if you know nothing about all the deep concepts, all the important things of a business? How you can imagine that you are going to finalize the accounts, but you don't know anything about the ledger scanning, and you don't know what items should be the direct expenses or the indirect expenses, what should be the revenue nature, what should be the capital nature. If you don't know all these things, if you're not having that much understanding, then how you can expect to work as a senior person, as a professional person? So each and everything you should learn to to take a step forward. Now, if we talk about the businesses, that what are the different aspects of the business? It's a very common thing. It's a very, you can say, the common sense thing. If any person is running a business, of course, that person is running for earning a good amount of profit, to make a brand or to be famous or to earn profit. The basic thing is that at the end of the day, what your business is earning, what your business is losing. Finance is all about giving the clear picture that whether you are earning something from the efforts you are putting in your business, or you are losing something. Analysis of that thing is the accounts. How to analyze the financials. If we talk about any business, one thing is the income and the other thing is the expenses. If you're working anything, then of course you have prepared a product or a service for offering in the market, from where you are going to earn some revenue, the income, without which you are not going to survive for a longer duration of time in the market. So the first aspect is the incomes, and the second is expenses. If you're earning something, and for earning those revenues, you need to put some efforts into that product, and those efforts will be in terms of your personal efforts, along with that the expenses which are incurred for putting those goods in the saleable condition. Let's say if I'm selling a marker or a pen, what is my revenue? I'm a pen manufacturing company, right? And I'm selling the pens. Where the revenue is coming from the sale of pen. And where are the expenses? First of all, the products, the materials which are used in the pen, like plastic or the chemicals, the colors, the metal caps, everything is used in the manufacturing of that product. And all the things which are into the product, these are my expenses. If I'm giving salary to my salesperson to go in the market and sell the pens, that salary is my expense. For selling the pens, I need to do what kind of expenses? First of all, prepare the product. All the chemicals, materials, everything that is on the product is my expense, is my foremost expense, without which the product will not be in its saleable condition. The next is all the persons who are involved in preparing the product. If I'm a pen manufacturer, then I'm not going in my factory to work on the pens on my own. Of course, I'm having the labor, the persons who are working on the machineries and all that for preparing the pen, for making that product my saleable product in the saleable condition. That labor is there with me, and I have to pay them salaries, I have to pay them wages. That is the expense of my business. That expense I need to recover from the revenue of that pen only, because my only revenue is from the sale of pen. And if I'm making any expenses for preparing that product, that will be recovered from the revenue itself. So the first thing will be the product, the manufacturing of product, what raw materials are there on the product, and the second thing is labor. The persons who are preparing the product for me so that I could sell it in the market. The next thing is packing. I'm not giving a pen to my customer like this. He take this pen for 10 rupees or take this pen for 100 rupees. No, I'm preparing the proper packaging, that plastic paper or box, cardboard box for designing, for decorating, and that cardboard box is printed with the laminated papers, labels of my company brand, and everything is there. That is also an expense that I have to recover from the revenue only. So all the expenses which I have incurred for the sale of a particular product are going to be recovered from the revenue of that product. In any business, what can be the sources of revenues? First of all, their primary business sale. If they are selling some goods and the revenue which is coming from those goods, that is the main source of revenue. The other source of revenue is the any investments they have made, any interest income which is coming from the FDs or any investments in any other company or the shares of any other company. So any other this kind of income is coming. The other is any commission income. Any commission income can be there. That is, let's say a person, I'm handling a business, and that business is of sale of pens, but I'm also a being a business, I'm also an insurance agent for some company. So I'm getting some commission from that insurance company, and that is also my income. That is my source of income, or any other kind of source which you have generated for yourself or for your business, that from where you are getting some revenues, the inflows of funds in your business. The sources of outflows is that your raw material, your labor, your salaries to the salespersons, your tours and traveling expenses, your wages, and everything, your transportation expenses, every expense which you have incurred for selling those products in the market. Every expense of the business, you need to recover that from the revenue only. And if your income is, let's suppose, 1 lakh, and your all the expenses are 80,000, then 20,000 is your profit. Or if your revenue is 1 lakh and your expenses summation is 1 lakh 20,000, so 20,000 is your loss. So this information, the financials, is very important for understanding that whether the business is incurring losses or yielding you the profits. Now, if we talk about what are the types of industries, first of all, the manufacturing industries. Of course, the basic criteria, the basic business criteria of each and every industry is almost same. Some are the sources of revenues and some are the sources of expenses, and the balance is the profit or loss of the company. So, if we talk about the manufacturing concerns, what are the sources of revenues? The sale of the product, the any other income which they are earning. They are having the scrap in their unit, scrap generated from the manufacturing process, and they have just sold that scrap in the market to the scrap dealer or any other manufacturer. That is also a source of revenue for the company. And if we talk about the expenses, then the materials which are used on the product, the labor expenses, the transportation expenses, all the normal expenses which are incurred in any kind of business. These are on the manufacturing industries. If we talk about the trading industry, what are the sources of revenues? The same, sale of a product, any other commission income, interest income. They are having a bulk of cardboard boxes, which we can say a scrap boxes. They can just sell that scrap to the scrap dealer, and that is also a source of revenue for the business. And what are the sources of expenses? They will not be having the manufacturing process, so the raw materials thing will not be there. But yes, if they are selling some goods and just they are the trader, that means if what the goods they are selling, they are buying those goods from some suppliers. So the purchase of goods from the suppliers is an expense, is a purchase for them. So the basic criteria is same for every business. The salaries will be there in the trading unit. The computer expenses will be there, printing and stationery expenses will be there, traveling expenses will be there, transportation expenses will be there. Everything will be common in all the industries. If we talk about the service industry, what is the source of revenue for them? Of course, their consultancy services or any kind of services which they are providing, that is the revenue generated from those services will be the main source of revenue for the service industry. And if we talk about the expenses, their staff salary, their printing and stationery expenses, or any other service which they are taking for giving the service to their customers. Let's say I'm giving a service of returns filing to my customers, to my clients, and I'm getting those returns filed from some other CA, from some other person. So that input service is also my expense. My tour and traveling expenses will be there. The depreciation of my assets will be there. So all these things will be there in the service industry as well. Banking industries and NBFCs. What is the source of revenue for the banking industry? The interest income which they have earned from the businesses who have taken loan from their banks. The interest income, the locker rents, the deposits on any investments which they have made with RBI or with any other bank or any other company. If they have given their land to some other company on rent, that rental income is their income. So all these sources will be their incomes. And what will be the sources of expenses? Their staff salaries, their software expenses, software renewals, the interest on the deposits which they are giving to their customers. People are depositing their funds in the banks and they are getting some interest from the banks as well. And that interest which bank is paying to the customer, that is an expense for the banks. Of course, the printing and stationery expense will be there for the banks also. If the bank is conducting the internal audits for their units, for their branches, then the expenses of that internal auditor will also be borne by banks and will be treated as the expense of the banks. So the expenses and incomes will vary depending upon the industry in which you are working. You have to mold your mind depending upon the thing. Now, let's say if any person is going to work in an NBFC as an accountant and he is looking forward for some purchase bills and all that. Of course, you will not get that thing in the banks or the NBFCs. Your expenses sources will be different, but that thing depends upon your common sense only. Then you need to understand, you should be rational that what kind of expense or what kind of incomes will be there on this particular industry, what should be the expense and what should be the income, on the basis of which you will decide whether to put that thing in the expenses column or to put that thing in the incomes column, whether it is a direct expense or an indirect expense. So the main underlying thing is that from every industry to industry, the items will vary, but the main underlying thing will be common everywhere. That some will be the sources of incomes and some will be the sources of expenses. And the balance, that how much income you have earned and how much expenses you have incurred, the difference will be your profit or your loss. So you need to understand depending upon the industry to industry or any other industry. Let's suppose I got a lot of questions from the students that ma'am, we are having a petrol pump and we are going to maintain the records of that petrol pump, and how we will cover this thing over here. So petrol pump is not a big deal. Your income sources is the sale of petrol, whether in cash or by card or in the big trucks or lorries from whom you are taking the money, or you are issuing the bill monthly or weekly or after 15 days, whatever your dealing is. Some is your source of income that you need to enter in your sales account, and some will be the source of expenses, that purchase of petrol, diesel, or any lubricant oil which you have purchased, which services you are giving to your customers, which who are coming on your pump. You are providing the free air services to them, and that cost is also your expense. The salary of your persons who are filling the petrol in the customers cars or bikes, the salaries of those persons is also an expense. Printing and stationery will be the expense. Staff refreshment will be the expense. Water expenses, this expenses, that expenses. Everything will be common. So that doesn't matter in which company you are working or for which business you are going to work. The basic underlying thing is some will be the sources of revenue and some will be the sources of expenses. So you need to just understand that thing and just enter it in the relevant column. The next thing is, being an accountant, what you need to do. First of all, you need to record each and everything. No event or transaction in which even a single rupee is involved should go unrecorded. You need to record each and everything, whether it's an income, whether it's an expense, everything you need to record completely. All the sale bills, the purchase bills, the expenses bills. If you are giving any advance to your staff members, that should also be recorded. If any inflow or outflow of funds is involved, you need to record that in your accounting softwares. Making and collecting the payments, you need to take care of the payments as well, because the main thing how the business will work will depend upon their finances. If you are selling the goods on credit basis and no one is making you payment because you are not aware about from whom you have to take how much amount, then that is a big issue, no? You need to take care of the payments and receipts, that from whom you need to collect the payment and to whom you need to make some payments for the business. So everything you should know, that you need to make and collect payments, you need to be updated on that. That whether you have let's say I have sold some goods 2 months back to a company and they have not made me any payment till today. So I'll remind the owners or the other departments that this person is not making us payment. So that thing also is also a part of an accountant's job. You need to be very, very alert while working, that what is going in your company. Then the government compliances. If you're working as an accountant and you don't know what is the last date of GST returns, or you don't know what is the last date of income tax filing, and you don't know that what is the last date of paying the advance tax, then what is the fun of being an accountant? You should take care of all the compliances, whether the GST, the TDS, the income tax, or any other kind of compliances which are applicable on your company. Let's say a rubber industry. If we talk about the rubber industry, then a rubber board's returns are an additional compliances on the rubber industries. You should be aware about these things, that what compliances are applicable on your particular company. Let's say you are working for a forex company and you know nothing about the RBI returns which are applicable on the forex companies. You should know everything about the company in which you are working. You should take care of all the government compliances, because if you are not taking care, then no one else is going to take care. And if these compliances go unattended, that will be a huge problem for the company. So you should take care of all these things completely. The next thing is finalizing the financials and giving the reports on monthly basis. Management Information System, MIS, we can say that. MIS is a very commonly used word, that is Management Information System. That whatever you are preparing, whatever records you are preparing, whatever entries you are doing in the systems, if you are not able to generate the results out of it, then you know nothing. You have entered all the sales bills properly, completely, all the purchases bills, all the expenses bills, but you are not understanding that what profitability the financials are showing to you. What is the fun of doing everything? You need to understand everything completely. You should know conceptually that if your financials is reflecting this particular item, this particular figure, then what is the meaning of this figure and what this denotes, what is the rational meaning of it, what is the logic behind it. Only then you will be able to analyze the financials properly, and which is very important, and discussion of that analysis is also very important. So this was all about our first class. That was the basic introduction of business, that what the business is, what things are included in the business, and how you are going to proceed, how you should be, what things you should know, what things you should understand and take a proper, you can say, proper responsibility of. From the next class, we will be covering the further concepts which are very important. The basic thing that will be a part of our course will be that you will be getting a deep understanding of each and every topic. After that, we will move on its bills and its entries and every work which you are going to perform, and then you will do that working on your systems as well. So this will be the hierarchy of the course which you are going to follow with us. So let's head up for the next class. Thank you very much for today.